I'm Geeta Nadkarni, founder of Impact with Influence, and you are watching here today because you want resources that your clients can use to find the money to pay you so that they can afford your premium coaching. And I actually have an entire list of resources complete with links that you can use to help clients, even those who have no credit or bad credit, find the money to work with you. Stay tuned and I'll tell you exactly how you can get it for free. I just got the coolest email all the way from India from someone I don't know who read this book because I guess someone I did know recommended it to them. And it has completely changed the way that she job searches, which is super freaking cool. I love that. In fact, there were two people who wrote to me about job search. One person I did know and one person I didn't. And that was absolutely amazing. And just so you know, by the way, this book is out there. This is my book, How to Live Your Vision, Manifest Your Dream Reality in Less Than 15 Minutes a Day. And it's super quick. Most people who read this book read it in under 2 hours. I'm a really slow reader, so for me, it took me about like 3 hours and 10 minutes, and it's because I was highlighting stuff. Anyway, I highly recommend. About to hit audible.com. How exciting is this? I'm such a huge audiobook listener. How many of you are audiobook people? Tell me in the comments if you're an audiobook person, because I read the book myself. If you follow me on social, I've showed you pictures of my setup and how it's like in the closet and so on. And the book is out there. So I don't know if the link has gone live yet. The link on your screen is definitely live. I don't know if the audiobook is live on Audible yet, but if not, it is a matter of hours. So I'm super excited to be sharing that with you. Now, if you're watching this live, you are doing yourself such a huge service because I have the craziest free giveaway for you today. Crazy, okay? There is more than $500,000 of credit and funding and loans and so on that your clients can use to work with you that I want to give you for free. So stay tuned for how you can do that. In the meantime, what I want you to tell me is what is the most common money-related objection that you get at the end of your clarity or discovery calls or whatever you call your sales calls, right? What is the objection that makes your stomach tie into knots where you're like, oh God, I did all of this work only to get here, right? So tell me what that objection is. Because depending on what you give me, I will be able to curate the resources that I get you to give you your way, okay? So tell me what is the commonest money-related objection that you get on your calls? Tell me that in the comments. And what I would also like to hear from you is if you want that resource. So it's not fancy. I created this for my own clients. Check it out. So there's a resource in there. It's like a Google Doc, and we've compiled scads and scads of low interest credit cards. In some cases, the interest rate is high, but you can have absolutely dismal credit and you can still get a credit card. We have resources where people can get approved literally on the call with you because it takes 10 minutes to get approval. There's special funding for women only, special funding for people of color, small business owners of color. All of these different resources we've compiled in a list, and we compiled it. I'll be super honest. If you want the list, if you want the free guide, comment the word resources in the comments below. Tell me the word resources and I'll get someone on my team to reach out to you and get you the link to this Google Doc. Okay. And you're going to make your own copy of the doc, and then I will teach you ways that you can use it. All right. So are you excited? I hope you're excited because in full transparency, we actually started to compile this resource for ourselves because so often we run into clients that are absolutely desperate to work with us. They understand the value of the program. They know what's waiting for them. They want to work with us. They're 100% sold. They don't have a money objection. They have a money condition. And there's a difference. We'll get into that. And so for them, we wanted to give them resources with which to get resourceful. And then we realized, oh, well, we're compiling this for us. We'd love to share. So we started, we're now going to share it with our clients so that their clients can find the money to work with them. And then I thought, well, why not share this with the community at large? So I figured I'm going to give you, especially if you're watching this live, I'm going to give you the same resources that we compiled for ourselves. So if you're watching this live or if you're just catching the replay, comment resources in the comments and I'll get someone on my team to reach out to you and get you this resource. All right. I want to dive right in because I have so much to cover today. I want to first start off by talking about what the money objection really is. Okay, how many of you have heard money objections on your calls? Tell me in the comments because I am listening right here and watching as your comments come through. Hello. Amazing. Jane's here. So there you go, a money condition rather than a money objection. So tell me about the money objections that you get, because typically when you get a money objection, if somebody balks at your price and says, like, that feeling at the end of the call where they're like, oh, wow, that's really expensive. I can't afford that. Now, what most programs will teach you to do, and what, if you're a closer type person or you've gotten closer training, whatever that is, then what you're trained to do in a situation like that is to say, they tell you, well, I can't really afford to do that. And then you're supposed to say, well, you can't really afford not to do it. And then it becomes a battle of wills. And that gets really ugly. And that leaves both parties completely wrecked from the, it feels very transactional, right? And then both people, whatever trust was built, whatever connection was built, it's gone. And then it's very kind of hit and run, and that doesn't feel good. Instead, understand what's really being said. When somebody says they can't afford it, now, it may be a money condition, and we'll cover that in a second, or it might be not a money objection. What they are actually saying is, I'm not 100% certain this is going to work for me. Now, this is the uncertainty objection. This is very different. If you handle uncertainty as a money objection, you're never going to close that call. You're shit out of luck because you're also demonstrating that you're not necessarily a premium caliber coach, because you've just taken their word for it. They've presented you with resistance and you bought their resistance, and now you're in an impasse, right? Obviously, coaching is about helping clients navigate and move through their resistance, and that's going to happen on the call as well. So what you want to do is you want to understand that if they're giving you the uncertainty response, like if they're like, well, I'm not really sure, this is not going to work for me, then obviously the number one thing that you need to do is you need to have for yourself enough certainty and confidence in your work that you feel that you're sort of radiating it, and then they can borrow some of that certainty and confidence with which to work. Right, with which to make the decision, which is why when we work with our clients, one of the first things that we do is we work with each client one-on-one in deep hypnotherapy with mindset work, where we identify your core objections to the sale of your program. Because if you're not making a lot of sales, you do have objections. They may be hidden from you. You may not be consciously aware of them, but there are stories that are preventing you from showing up with that shining, open, easy confidence that makes it easy for people to hand over their credit card, especially when there are large sums of money involved, right? So the first thing that we do is help you go deep, deep, deep into like, what are your objections to the sale? What is holding you back? What is that little wobble that you have subconsciously that the other person may not consciously, like if you ask them point blank, they may not consciously have an answer. They'll kind of feel like, I don't know, I need to think about it. Like, I'm not sure, need to meditate. Like there's all of these different things that are going to come up because they don't feel that, that click, that intuitive, like coming home. So when you first resource yourself internally, and you have that shining kind of like, okay, I'm actually ready to receive this. That's great. Then the copy team will work with you on really understanding and distilling the value of your program so that in a short period of time, like on a call, like when you transition from asking all the questions to then saying, okay, I can see what the journey is, and then helping them to see what the journey is, to articulate exactly what journey you're going to take them on, and then articulate the true value that you're going to that they're going to get out of it. When you know how to do that, that's when they're going to feel really, really powerful really, really, really easy to say yes. They're going to find it easy to say yes. Remember last week, we talked about people's objections to getting coaching. So this is what we covered in last week's free training. If you missed it, go watch the replay. It's here in the Facebook group, or on YouTube, wherever you're watching this. Watch that. But here's what I had said. Good messaging says, here's what we do. Great messaging says, we really, really understand you. But magic messaging, which is what we embody here at Impact with Influence, says we do things differently because we understand you. So it's an amalgamation of good and great that makes this magic messaging. You're communicating what you do differently, and you're communicating it in a way that really says, we understand you. We get where you're coming from. We understand what's going on with you. That's why we've structured our offer, our program, our process, our support this way. And we help our clients create magic messaging so people really understand the value of the investment. Because in order to get resourceful, they have to believe. Okay, so I'm going to put that, write that down. I can give you the biggest list of resources. I can freaking put a credit card in your hand. But if they don't believe that they're going to get results, even a credit card is useless, right? Because you still have to pay the credit card back. And if you don't feel confident that you're going to get what you need, you're not going to feel confident to spend the money. So ultimately, in order for them to believe, you have to believe. That is the not so secret sauce, right? And you have to be truly committed to the success of your clients. So let's move forward and let's assume they're fully on board. They're like, man, I've been praying for you. You're manna from heaven. I've been waiting for you for the longest time. I just don't have the money. I want to do this. This is a money condition. So here's what a money condition really is. Okay, a money condition is when somebody is fully, energetically on board. They want it. They don't have to check with anybody. They don't have to think about it. They're like, oh, heck yes. If somebody were to just give me the money right now, I would give it straight to you. I'm in. They have a condition that needs to be solved. So your job is to get on the same side of the table with them, find and help them get resourceful to find that money, or at the very least to come up with a plan to find the money. Does that make sense? That's part of your job to support your clients. This is part of the work, the global work that you do. Obviously, for the most part, you work with clients who pay you a lot of money, especially if you're like us, you're in the premium space, right? They pay you a lot of money. But obviously, there's the wider sort of realm of clients where you're helping them get resourceful so that they can work with you and pay you that money. So this is part of that work. And Oz on our team. So just to give you just an understanding of how committed we are to your success, Oz, who's on our team, started to compile this list of resources. I didn't even have to ask her to do this. She did this of her own free will. And it's because she brought me this list of resources. And because we were so excited to share it with our paying community of clients, I was like, man, you know what? This should be the topic of my live this week. So this literally all happened in the last 48 hours. And we were like, we need to share this with the community on the whole. So please give Oz a huge shout out because she worked really hard to compile this list. And it is freaking exhaustive. There are $250,000 loans that people can get approved for in less than 10 minutes. I'm not kidding. Okay, there's some real gold in here. And I'm assuming most of you, at least, you're not needing 250, you don't need to help your clients find 250K, right? You need a small sliver of that. And you're going to be able to help clients transform so profoundly that whatever they pay you, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, whatever it is that they pay you, it's going to be so worth it. It's going to be the best money they ever spend. So this is just so exciting. So if you want that guide, please comment the word resources in the comments below. So whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, I will get you that. Someone on my team, possibly Oz, actually will reach out to you and get you that guide. Now, obviously, in order for your clients to really believe, here's the deal. You got to help them believe. Do you know what helps that? I told you about, obviously, your belief is the first and foremost thing, which is why if we were to work together, that's the first thing we would work on. Now, here's how you pay that forward and pay it forward to your clients. You're going to help them understand the payoff. Most people really bungle this. Even with resources available, Because think about it, right? Even with resources available, you give them this whole list of links. You give them the perfect resource where all they have to do is either make a phone call or click a link and enter some information. There's going to be some credit checks, maybe. There's going to be a phone interview that they need to do with someone. There's going to be some documents that they need to provide if they have absolutely terrible credit or no credit, or they're looking for business credit or something like that. They're going to have to provide documentation. All of this is friction, right? This does happen. This is real. So all of this is friction, and your client is going to have to move through that friction in order to get to the finish line where they get the money, where they can pay you, and you can do the work with them to help them. And this is true. This is especially true, and I want to say this, you have to get crystal clear about the payoff. And this is especially true whether you do have a make money offer. So those can be the most obvious, where you're like, hey, you invest X amount of dollars and you get Y amount of dollars back. You pay us, $20,000 and you make $360,000 your first year of business after working with us. That's an easy yes. But what if you're in health? What if you do relationship coaching, weight loss coaching, love coaching, that sort of thing? You help people improve their marriages. You're doing spiritual or energetic or intuitive coaching. What if you're in those more esoteric realms? How do you demonstrate the payoff? Right? These are some of the questions that I often get from people. So there's always a payoff. And I'm going to be super blunt here. It is your job to figure out exactly what it is and to distill it and quantify it and understand it for yourself. When you understand it, and this is an exercise that we get all of our clients to do, and we have this in a guided way. So sometimes when people, we'll give them the questions and then they'll get stuck. So then I'm everybody's coach, but in addition to me, everybody has an assigned copy coach. Then the two of us will go in and be like, all right, here's this question, ask this question. They'll come to a group coaching call. We'll talk through it with them. We'll talk about their own journey. We'll say, okay, what did you spend to maintain the problem? What did you spend to escape the problem? What did you spend just as you were searching for solutions? How much money did you drop? How much time did you waste? What else did it cost you? Did it cost you a promotion? Did it cost you opportunity? Did you hide in some way and it cost you relationships? What are all of the different costs that add up? If you're not clear about what it's costing them and you're not clear about what the potential gain is to them, the payoff, then you're not going to be able to communicate it to them. I'm going to tell you right now, your clients don't really know. Most of them. Some of them will. But most of your clients don't actually understand the payoff, which means they're going in blind to making a money investment. Do you see that? If you don't know what the return on investment is, how can you have permission to make the investment in the first place? That's what you have to give them. You have to give them a clear, articulated understanding of the return. That makes it infinitely easier to put the money down, even if it's more money than they've ever spent before. Okay? So give them the resources, but give them the motivation to actually use those resources. Now, I'm going to give you an example. And if you want to work with us and get the support that you need to help you figure all of this out, where you don't have to guess, you don't have to pussyfoot around it, you don't have to be like, I think I've nailed my messaging, but I'm not really sure, or you're still trying to figure out what your freaking niche is. I can tell you this, we have plenty of clients that still, after working with us, I want to tell you this, the goal of working with us is not to figure out your niche, although that might feel like it is a goal for you right now. We have a client who works with us who still to this day does not know her niche, and she has retired from her full-time. She used to make all her money doing massage therapy. She's been trying to transition to coaching for years. I want to say it's a decade, but I'm not sure if it's that long. It might have been 8 years. For years, coaching was only a side hustle. It was something that brought in a teeny tiny bit of money. She was not able to do it. Within 8 weeks of working with us, she has retired from massage and she's doing coaching, and she's making more money from her coaching than she ever did doing massage. Okay. She still hasn't nailed her niche, and it doesn't matter because she's clear enough about the transformation that she creates that people can kind of self-select in and say, hey, that's me, that's what I want. And if they don't all somehow coherently gel into this easily describable niche, who gives a rat's ass? No one, not her and not the clients. Does that make sense? So maybe you're running after the wrong goalpost. And if you want help getting to the actual finish line that matters to you, that will create that deepest transformation in your life, then use the link on the screen. And I'm going to give you an example about, and just to complete the story about this client that we worked with. It was so interesting with her because she had spent so much money, thousands and thousands of dollars over 8 years, right, of trying to figure this out, really trying to figure out who do I serve? What is the real transformation? Even when she came in the first week that she started the program, if our program had been a DIY course, here's what would have happened. She would have seen some of the questions that we ask all our clients. She's watched the video, answer the questions, and she'd have been like, heck, I'm right back to where I've always been. This is where I always get stuck. And this is exactly what happened, by the way. This is where I always get stuck. I can't believe I'm here again. I can't believe I wasted this much money and I'm still not any clearer than I used to be. That's what happens when you don't have support. And that's what happens when you work with people who answer the question you ask them. We didn't answer the question she asked us. And we understood that her confusion was part of a pattern for her. And that her clarity was right there the moment the confusion got really big, we knew the clarity was close. Okay, because that was her pattern, because she was super intuitive. And it was that intuition that led her to work with us in the first place. She was like, this is the time. She was at her lowest point financially. Think about it. She's a massage therapist coming through the pandemic. She started working with us this year. So through the pandemic, her income dried up. And then she was like, oh my God, I am desperate. I have to figure out, do I resuscitate my massage business or do I go all in on the coaching? And she made a very scary decision to invest with us and figure this out. And it was her intuition telling her it was the right time and that we were the right people. But then she hit that like, oh my God, what if I'm wrong? What if, oh my God, I'm so confused. Did I make the right decision? Did I not? Have I made there was all of that confusion. What we did was we were able to really distill. One of the things we saw was that she had a pattern of being intuitive. I'm telling you the story because this often describes lots of our clients. You're deeply intuitive, but you've been exposed to people that you love that have stymied that intuition, that have maybe been uncomfortable with some of the things that you can see or pick up. And so they have deliberately misled you. They have gaslighted you, perhaps. They have pushed back and said, hey, you know what? Nope, don't want to deal with that. It's not true. What you say or what you feel or what you think or what you see is not real, right? And when you internalize that at a young age, that can become your pattern, where the second you start to see something real, you're like, whoa, I don't see that. Don't see it. And that's exactly what was happening here. So what we did was we're like, confusion is your superpower. We're going to use it. If you have that much of it, it would be a pity to waste it. And we can't fix it. This is who you are. This has become a part of you. Great. Let's use it. And one of the things that I love best about working with coaches and consultants and course creators, the way we work with them, the way we work with you, is we are able to get into whatever you think is keeping you stuck, the thing that you're like, man, I'm broken in this way. I need to fix it. That's what we use as your superpower. That's what we use as the portal, because I truly believe clarity is an inside job. You already have the truth. You have your answers. You were designed for this work, whatever this is for you, right? Our job is to help you connect to it, to move out of the way all of the different stories and pieces you've kind of armored yourself with, because you're terrified that if you actually put your essence in its truest form out into the world, each of us carries the terror that the world will not want it from us. And that the thing that we most love about ourselves, the thing that we most want to grow into, there's no room for it. The world doesn't want it, right? That's the deepest fear. And so in order to protect ourselves from that, we put a lot of other stuff in the way. So our job at Impact with Influence is to peel back those layers and give you the tools to continue to peel back those layers, because obviously your life continues after the 8 weeks. And yes, you'll make some money in the short term, but that's just the beginning. And that's just the start of where you're going to go. So tell me what your biggest aha was from this, from what I've shared with you so far. And I'm going to be monitoring the comments right here in the chat. All right. I see lots of you have said resources. Yay, perfect. We're going to get you those resources. Tell me what your biggest aha was, or if you have any questions. And I'm going to see what you guys said about the biggest objection that you get on your call in terms of money. All right. I see Jane says, great distinction, money condition rather than money objection. Yes, indeed. Some of you say, oh my God, I struggle with, what is this? I struggle with, oh, it's too much, and then I just want to run away. Yeah, that makes sense. And that again, if you don't deal with your own energy around that fear of rejection, if you don't deal with that energy, then it's going to be triggered and you're going to want to pull away. But if you understand how to move through it, where it's no longer resistance, where you can open up that space and be like, what's really going on here? So you're coaching the other person, but you're coaching yourself too. That's how you're going to move through that. So tell me, if you're watching this again, remember, I've got these resources that have personal funding options available. So for people who don't have an LLC or a corporation or an S corp or whatever it is, they can get funding on the personal side. We have credit cards, suggestions for people who have really dismal credit. And people can have dismal credit for all kinds of reasons. I just want to put that out there. I'm an immigrant. When I first came to this country, I had zero credit. I had technically bad credit, but not because I made any bad financial decisions. It's just because I didn't have credit history. And sometimes when somebody has just, launched their business or they've not made as much money in their business, that can be an issue as well if you happen to work with business owners. And sometimes when you're working with people who've been in chronic pain, who are, morbidly obese or have had various trauma for whatever reason, they're often financially depressed as well. So these are going to be amazing resources that you can use to help your clients afford your coaching. And these can also be resources that you use to find the resources to get help in case you're the person who's still looking for a coach, right? If you're needing coaching, you can use them for yourself. If it's your clients that need the help for funding, then you can use it with them. All right. I hope this has been informative and I hope you've gotten a lot out of it. I will see you in the comments and I will see you next Thursday. Take care. Bye.